It's time for Coffee with the Chicken Ladies, a podcast for people who love chickens.
Hey everybody, and welcome. It's Chrisie&Holly from Coffee with the Chicken Ladies. We're here, and this is episode number 254 of our podcast, where we talk about everything chicken, family, fun, and
more chickens.
More chickens! We drank a ton of coffee. I'm talking a ton. But most importantly,
we hug chickens every day.
And we kiss them too, don't forget. We brew coffee from a little coffee roaster in Houston, Texas. Bright and early coffee. Holly, and what kind of coffee are we brewing today?
Texas cinnamon.
We love the Texas cinnamon. And if you are not drinking this Texas cinnamon, you are missing out. Where should everybody go to get it?
brightandearlycoffee.com.
And use the code CWTCL15 for 15% off a bagged coffee. If you need K-Cups, go over to Amazon and follow them on their social media. Are you ready to sip some of this delicious Texas cinnamon coffee and chat?
I am, y'all. But first, a word from our sponsor.
We have some exciting news to share from our sponsor, Grubly Farms. They're here, new and improved, Grubly's World Harvest.
I'm a longtime subscriber, and my flock love the healthy, nutritious treats, plus orders $40 and more ship free.
If you haven't heard, Grubly's has a fantastic layer pellet and crumble feed. It's packed with plant and insect protein, perfect for those picky chickens and ducks.
Grubly Farms makes food and treats for healthy pets and planet.
To support us and Grubly Farms, use the link grubly.co/coffee. Try it today. Okay, so we're in one of our favorite months of the year, October.
Oh, thank goodness.
September was warm, people. I'm talking, it didn't feel like the fall. I've had my air conditioner on.
August, I know. AC on, still outside doing barn work in shorts and tank tops, and I wanted some cozy sweater weather.
Sweater weather. Yes.
It's a tongue twister for you.
Sweater weather. Yes. And I really wanted it. I want it. Big, bulky hoodie, sweater, sweatpants.
Yeah.
I'm still in shorts. Actually, as we're recording right now, I am in shorts.
Me too. I can't stand it. It was really mucky, right? Because we got a bunch of rain all at one time, and it just made a big mucky mess. And so I hate wearing my big barn boots when it's warm outside because my legs get sweaty under the boots. It's really uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah.
So not only has it been warmer than we like, it's been just yuck. I mean, the only people happy were the ducks.
Yeah, and the chickens aren't happy because they're molting. My lowest number eggs in one day with 20-something chickens is one egg. I've had multiple days of one egg. That's it.
I have double the number of chickens of you, and guess how many eggs I got yesterday?
2.
1. Just 1.
I'm like, come on, let's just get through the molting, get through your break, have fun, take your break, and then we'll be back in the spring. But yeah, we're coming into that. To me, it's my favorite time of the year, October through the end of December. I love that block, not only for the weather, but I love it because it has a different feel. I feel like after the first of the year, it changes to, okay, we're all in the business. But the end of the year, it's about nostalgia. It just feels great. It just is a great time of the year.
It's a busy time of the year, but, traditionally this was a time of the year for harvest celebrations. That's where they've all come from.
I love it.
And so, yeah, I love that part of it too. I love, apples and pumpkins at the produce stand, and some of my cabbages are ripe. Some of them have been decimated by, by caterpillars in the past couple of weeks.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the geese.
No, that my cabbages are planted way up in raised beds where the geese can't get them. But yes, I agree with you. I want sweaters. I want more coffee. I want delightfully chilly. And as of today, you and I are finished our big project. So
we're finished.
We get to celebrate for the next couple of months.
Can we put a confetti thing in here? A big ba-da! But we're going to be able to tell you about it soon, but not yet.
If you haven't already guessed.
It's our big project. I mean, we're basically we had the champagne glasses, woohoo! Yeah, yeah.
Well, one of the things about this project is that we did it in 4 months. Yeah, we did it in
4.5 months.
And that was including me being hospitalized with Lyme disease. So go us.
And multiple trips.
Yeah.
And just life. It's not easy sometimes.
Right.
Okay. And on that note, if you're listening to our show and you're loving it, head on over to Apple Podcasts and leave us a written review. It does amazing things for the growth of our show. While you're there, hit that subscribe button. They do count them, and you never want to miss anything.
If you're looking for other ways to support the podcast, you can tell a few chicken, duck, and or goose loving friends about us. You can share your favorite episodes on social media. You can become a patron of the show, patreon.com/coffeewiththechickenladies. A huge welcome to our newest patrons and a thank you for all of you who have been with us for a while.
Oh, before you go on, I want to give a congratulations to Angel. She's one of our beautiful patrons. She has 2 new geese. Congratulations.
She just adopted a pair of beautiful white Chinese geese. Oh, they're so pretty.
Yeah.
And the other thing you can do to help support the show is visit our website and our show notes, use our affiliate links and discount codes, and buy products from our sponsors.
Yay! You know what I love when it's 95 degrees outside?
Being inside.
Well, that too, but I really love cleaning my igloo chicken coop.
Yeah, it is so easy to clean. You don't have to break a sweat.
And you can use a water hose or pressure washer, so it doubles as a cool down. I also love those run covers.
Oh man, the shade is superb. I go into the run to cool off.
Yep, my flock's covered during the heat of the day, just chillin'.
Meanwhile, we're melting on the patio. Seriously, can we get in on this amazing coop design for ourselves?
They're out there living the dream.
So when it's pushing 100 degrees, the right setup matters.
That's why we choose an igloo.
Get your girls their own just in time for summer.
Search Omelette. That's OMLET.
Hey, Chris.
Yeah.
Do you like monthly subscriptions?
Does it have anything to do with chickens?
Of course.
Then yeah. Let us take a minute to tell you about Chicken Love.
You get a monthly Chicken Lady tee, treats for your flock, and a keeper care card.
And did you know with every multi-month subscription, you get a free Chicken Love logo t-shirt?
Really?
Yeah.
It's $36 a month with free shipping.
What are you waiting for? Get off the nest and click already. That's chickenlove.com. That's chickenluv.com. Get your subscription today.
The Breed Spotlight is brought to you by Murray McMurray Hatchery, defining quality for generations. For over a century, Murray McMurray Hatchery has remained a trusted family-owned business, working tirelessly to ensure our poultry meet the highest standards.
Whether you are an experienced enthusiast or just embarking on the journey, look to McMurray Hatchery for guaranteed quality, rare and heritage breeds, low minimums, and all the supplies you need to raise your flock. Request a free catalog today. Holly once went on a trip. She went on an airplane ride. It was about 5 hours long. She took a friend Michelle. Then they got off the plane and they were in Iceland. And then we said it's time for the Breed Spotlight. Yeah.
Is that the saga of my trip to Iceland? Thank you. That was lovely.
It didn't take me. I'm not holding a grudge, though. No,
Whoa. This was a knitting trip.
Joking. Just JKing. Just JK.
Okay. I mean, you could come there and learn how to knit. Would you want to learn how to knit?
I can't knit.
Well, no, because no one's ever taught you. Do you want to learn how to knit?
Maybe in another year or two when we have 2 moments, maybe.
Okay. Well,
okay. So this week's Breed Spotlight is
the Icelandic chicken. Now, this is a really neat chicken. The Icelandic is a very, very, very old and unique landrace breed of chickens. Sometimes you'll see them here in the U.S. referred to as Viking hens or Viking chickens. They are small-bodied chickens, and because they're a landrace, they have a lot of variables in their appearance, including some of them having small crests and mohawks.
I want a mohawked one.
I know, they're really cute.
Did you see any of them there that had mohawks?
No, I saw some small backwards sweeping crests, like leg barish crests, but I did not see any mohawks there. I only saw 2 flocks, though. I heard a third, but I never located them on the farm. Now, Icelandics are not APA accepted, but there is a network of breeders here in the U.S. if you're interested in keeping and breeding them. The Livestock Conservancy currently lists the Icelandic chicken in the threatened category, so they do still need help. I will say that the people selling you Icelandic chickens are going to ask you what you're going to do because they don't want you crossbreeding these birds.
But they don't want you crossbreeding. They don't want you eating them. They need to live and reproduce.
Right.
That's what they need to do.
Yeah. And when we get towards the end of the spotlight, we can talk a little bit more about how they're used and kept like in contemporary Iceland, because I thought that was really interesting. The first thing to know about Icelandic chickens is about 78% of their DNA is unique and surprisingly diverse and cannot be found or replicated in any other chicken breed. No other chicken breed.
Nothing. Nada.
Mm-mm. In the 1990s, researchers did find some genetic links to the Norwegian Yerhan, which we spotlight, back in March of this year. The other thing to know is that the Icelandics have been present in Iceland since the 9th century. So
long time.
Right.
Long time.
So if you know anything about the livestock of Iceland, the horses, the sheep, the goats, which by the way provide cashmere, the goats, the chickens, and probably something else that I'm forgetting, they were all taken to Iceland with the Old Norse settlers, what people call the Vikings. And they've been there and not crossbred ever since. I take that back. We'll talk about this in a few minutes. There was a little bit of crossbreeding in the early 1900s, but they still talk about that being a huge mistake in Iceland today.
They don't let stuff go in Iceland, man.
No. So most scholars will give you dates for the settlers, the settlement on Iceland, about 874 AD.
Wow.
Pretty gosh darn early. The Icelandic name for the chickens, which I do not know, it translates to Icelandic chickens of the settlers.
Makes sense.
Right? Nothing ambiguous about that. We know where these birds came from.
I mean, chicken names in general are very logical choices. People did not until this day and age, I feel like names get frillier to draw you in, and they're using the marketing tool of names. But back then it was very practical. Right. They're from here, so we're going to name them this chicken. They brought them, the settlers brought them, so we're going to name them after them.
Right. You know? Now, there is another name for the breed. It's more of a nickname for the breed, and it translates to pile chickens. That's another way of saying dunghill fowl.
Okay.
Right? So they just let their chickens do what they wanted to do. But the difference is on that island, the chickens self-selected and they developed their own way. They evolved into this really distinct breed.
I always like talking about that. They get to pick who they want to be with. They're more like humans than anybody else.
Yes. Now, the Icelandic chickens have lived on farms and small holdings on this island without too much trouble for more than 1,000 years. But there were two significant events that caused a lot of damage to them. The first was the eruption of Laki, the Laki volcano in 1873 and into 1874. The eruptions from this volcano were absolutely terrible. They killed more than 9,000 people and well over 50% of the livestock in Iceland.
That's terrible. When you think about these natural disasters killing so many people, a lot of people forget that a lot of animals are also killed during these things. And I'm that person that thinks about the animals.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Unfortunately, I'm like, oh my God, no.
Well, and when you're looking at a disaster like this and their livestock is a huge food source for them, then you're talking about people that probably died not just from the eruptions, but starvation afterwards.
Yeah, exactly.
So I found sources that claim that the population of Icelandic chickens was almost wiped out during this period, 1873 to 1874.
That's not good, man.
Right. And the loss of their crops and their livestock did lead to a famine, and somewhere between a quarter or a third of the Icelandic population did die of starvation. That is devastatingly tragic.
Those are staggering numbers. I mean,
really?
When you think of a quarter to a third of a population dying from starvation, it's very sad.
Yeah. Now, the other event, and we alluded to this a little while ago, the other event that had a big impact on the Icelandics was the importation of white and brown leghorns for commercial laying in around the 1930s.
That's across the board.
Right? Right.
Yeah, that's so, every chicken we can say was affected by this.
Right. Now, over the next 40 years, the numbers of Icelandic chickens continue to dwindle as fewer farmers kept and bred them. As land was developed, predators became more of a problem for free-ranging birds. Now, the only native mammal on Iceland is the Arctic fox.
Oh, and that's their number one predator right there,
That's
man.
Right. That's right. So farmers had started to lose more birds than they could breed. There was also some crossbreeding going on, like we talked about, diluting the genetics. Now, the 1970s must have just been, I mean, we were born, right?
They were awesome.
But all these people just stood up and said, what the heck is happening? All these breeds are going extinct. We're poisoning water, blah, blah, blah.
Well, here's the thing. We were too young to realize anything because we were born in the 70s.
Right. So we didn't know what was going on.
Right.
And, the 70s, they had a big impact on things like small farming. And then we hit the 1980s and the me, now decades, and even more livestock crashed and burned.
Right.
So in the 70s, researchers from a couple of the Icelandic agricultural colleges set out to collect and breed the old-style Icelandic landrace chickens. They knew they were preserving that precious genetic material, and they were safeguarding the breed for future generations. The breed's popularity has grown a lot in the decades since then. Icelandic chickens have been exported to various countries around the world. They've been in the US since the 1970s, and Greenfire Farm has also imported fresh genetics in recent years. Thank you, Greenfire Farms.
Yes. So let's go into what these little babies look like because, they're small-bodied birds and they look all different ways. Roosters are generally going to weigh in between 4 and 4.5 pounds. That's little for a boy. That is very little. The girls are coming in at about 3 to 3.5 pounds. So they're one step above that bantam level. Now they come in all different colors, like we were saying, comb shapes, including straight, rose, pea, and double combs. Okay, so you're going to get quite the variety. As I always say, it's the grab bag of chickens. You don't know what you're going to get. As far as skunk, you don't know what you're going to get until you get it.
Life is like a box of chocolates.
It's like a box of chickens. You don't know what you're going to get until you get it.
It's when you get the assorted breed package from the hatchery.
You get Whitman's assorted. You don't know what you're going to get. So some of the birds have small swept back crests, some have mohawks, and some have nothing. So it's all in what you like. But you don't know what you're going to get till you get it. So here we go. There is no breed standard for these birds, but breeders are fierce in their insistence that Icelandics are not to be crossbred because every time you crossbreed, you lose genetics. This is very important to remember.
What was that figure I just gave? Like 63% of their genetics can be found in no other chicken on the earth.
Exactly. And if you crossbreed, you lose that. So, this valuable DNA should be safeguarded. And these people know this. So they're going to want to know what you're going to do with these chickens once you get them.
Right.
Now, for the homesteads and everything, hens are good layers of medium-sized cream or off-white eggs. They're always good in a rainbow basket when you have those cream eggs. They are so pretty. They'll give you around 180 to 200 per year. And the Icelandic hens will go broody and are known to be determined sitters. They have to. They have to.
Right.
They're landrace. They have to. They will happily hatch and raise a clutch of chicks for you if you want to have that done. If not, good luck to you. And like all of us breaking a broody, it's not fun.
Right.
Now, you don't usually think of a small body flighty bird as a good broody, but they are. They're kind of like one of those unique chickens out there.
Yeah. They are such interesting chickens. They've become, I can't say popular, but they've become more, I guess a little popular is not the right word. There's been a little bit of an increase in people keeping them, but they still need more help.
Yeah, they're independents, they're good foraging, and they have those mothering skills like I was talking about before, the broody skills. That's something that homesteaders really want that because it's easier to have somebody sit on a clutch than to have them in an incubator. It's much easier on you, that's for sure.
They also give you a pretty decent egg supply. If you have 5 or 6 hens giving you 200 eggs a year, that's a pretty decent supply. They are some of the best chickens ever for turning over compost and garden beds. They will defoliate a patch of land before you can blink.
And predator savvy. Keep in mind, in Iceland, they're running away from predators all the time. So it's in their DNA to be pretty good at running and getting away from predators. So that's great. And they're little, so they can fly,
Right, they can fly, right. So they can get away from foxes that way. There are some aerial predators in Iceland. I think the foxes are the biggest problem, though.
Yeah, but keep in mind, keeping them in coops at night is really important to keep them secure and safe from those predators at nighttime. You don't want them in trees.
Okay, I laid eyes on 2 flocks. And in both of those flocks, I was able to go in and look at the coops and the runs and everything, which was really nice.
Right.
Another farm we were on, we had just finished with the sheep in the sheep barn. Michelle and I were heading towards the crowing, but then they distracted us with Icelandic cashmere goats, and that was all she wrote on that one. So
you never went to the chickens? I'm disappointed in you.
No, that third farm. No, I lost my mind over those goats. I was obsessed with those Icelandic goats. But they did have coops and runs. I mean, they did secure their birds overnight.
But they need a lot of space. They need a lot of space
to range and forage. So if you do keep them in a run, it needs to be a very big aviary style run with a lot of enrichment to keep them busy.
Now, some people dislike their flightiness, but we've talked about this multiple times. Flightiness is not really equate to badness. Flightiness is just their ability to get away from a predator.
Right. Other people talk about having favorite birds that they hand raised who have become very friendly and love to spend time with their people. It's that old thing that we always say, you get out what you put in.
Exactly. Now, they're hardy and they're healthy chickens, and they do pretty well both in the heat and the cold, but they will need some help in the cold, that's for sure.
Right. They're not immune. They can still lose combs and toes to frostbite and even die of hypothermia. And yes, this breed has been around for thousands of years, but many of them have died over harsh winters in earlier centuries. And so I can tell you that one of the coops I went and stuck my head in, I couldn't see up in the second coop, just the bottom layer of it.
Right.
But the one where I was able to see the whole inside, they had a permanent heat lamp installed in that coop.
They're going to protect them. I mean, think about this way. They are small body.
Right.
Roosters at 4 pounds, that's a little chicken. So they don't have a lot of fluff and fat and all these things on them to keep them warmer. So they're going to need some assistance.
Iceland is chilly. I mean, there were days in September where we had on full, wool thermals and outerwear too. There's also the fact that in the winter, when the winter is very severe, like the sheep in Iceland come down out of the mountains. That's what we were there for, the roundup. Right. And they'll live in the barns all through the winter. They won't even be out. So I think it probably comes down to the same with the chickens. There are parts of the years where they are confined to those coops and runs.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Just to protect them from the winter.
Now, here comes that question. Where are you going to get some Icelandics if you want them? And they're cuties.
You can get yourself some beautiful Icelandics at Greenfire Farm.
Yay!
Yeah, you can also, and they had, like we said, they have some fresh genetics there, so that's worth checking out. Both of the roosters that I saw were black-based and gorgeous.
Yeah, take a look. I'm going to have them on social media this week. Holly had sent me some pictures. She's like, where are those pictures that I sent you?
I went through all the trouble of crawling around taking photos of these birds. You're going to put those photos up.
I was like, oh, I forgot.
You can also visit the Icelandic Chicken Breeders group on Facebook, where you will find more local breeders and even hatching eggs. So
if you have an Icelandic chicken, give us a story. Hit a story on your IG, hit the mention button, Coffee with the Chicken Ladies, and I will reshare it for you so we can share your chickens for everyone to see.
Are you ready to dive into the fascinating world of backyard ducks? Look no further than Metzer Farms, your premier destination for top quality waterfowl. Whether you're a seasoned breeder or just starting out, Metzer Farms has everything you need to elevate your flock to the next level. And if you're passionate about call ducks, you're in for a treat.
Metzer Farms hatches a stunning variety of call ducks, meticulously bred for their miniature size, beauty, and calm temperament. From snowy whites to vibrant colors, each duck is a masterpiece waiting to grace your backyard. Visit metzerfarms.com today to browse their extensive selection and start your journey into the wonderful world of waterfowl. Metzer Farms, where passion meets perfection.
If you're looking for a chicken coop that's produced in a planet-friendly, sustainable way, try Nestera.
Each coop is made from highly durable, 100% recycled plastic that keeps the equivalent of up to 2,000 shampoo bottles out of a landfill.
Their clean, modern design will fit into any garden or run area and comes with an industry-beating 25-year warranty and a range of handy accessories.
Simple to put together, so quick and easy to clean, and most importantly, red mite resistant. Your chickens will love it.
Quick shipping from Nestera US.
For a 5% discount, use the affiliate link in our show notes, on our website, and on Instagram. Link in bio. Check them out today. So we're ready to move on to main topic. Yeah. Now, this week's main topic, it's an oldie but a baddie. It's an oldie I want to say an oldie but a goodie, but it's not a goodie. There's nothing good about it.
It's old and it's bad. Or as the other thing we like to say is sounds funny, not funny.
It sounds funny, not funny. But it's one of those topics that is one of the most popular ailments in chickens. So we keep talking about it in case you've missed it before, because who knows, there might be somebody new out there. And we want to talk about the bumble. That's right, bumblefoot.
Bumblefoot. When I wrote up the outline for the show, spell check, I changed it to bubblefoot.
Bumblefoot. Now, before we get into the nitty gritty of the bumble, I have to tell this quick story that involves Holly, because it.
I don't know what this is going to be.
If you could see Holly's face right now.
The heck is she going to talk about? Okay, I'm listening.
So, in the very beginning, 5 years ago, we sat down to record our first 4 episodes. Do you know where I'm going with this?
Mm-hmm.
And one of which we talked about Bumblefoot. Okay.
Yes, we did.
And Holly, she was like, I need to get this out there. Like, the episode was like 2 hours long because we talked.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. No.
We talked for a long time about Bumblefoot, though.
No, we didn't. No. That episode was, no, I edited that episode. That was less than an hour. It was less than an hour. Your whole thing was no one wants to hear about pus. And I was like, what do you think Bumblefoot is?
It was so funny. And you were like adamant. You're like, we have to get this out there.
The information wasn't out there. Not very well.
No, and now
so what happened?
over the years, we're getting it out there.
When we finally did the Bumblefoot episode, it was one of our best episodes ever. And I was like, in your face.
Oh, shoot. But I just remember
the Bumblefoot.
You're like, it had oozy, gooey.
No, I did not say those words. I said the word you objected to is stringy.
Oh, yeah.
It was stringy. That's what it was.
It was. And here we say it.
Here we say it.
Let's get into Bumblefoot. Funny, not funny.
Pododermatitis. Pododermatitis is simply an abscess on the bottom of the foot, but it has some unusual characteristics. And we're going to get into this, but it's not always on the bottom of the foot. It can show up in other places.
And that's there's new stuff out there all the time. And we get questions from people. Yes, it can be all the way up the leg. It can be everywhere on the bottom of the foot, the top of the foot, in between the toes, all those different places.
So again, pododermatitis is an abscess on the bottom of the foot, usually, but not always, marked with a black scab. There might be swelling. There might be the skin might have turned like a pinkish red from inflammation. I feel like the symptoms are often lying down a lot or limping.
Yeah, what you're going to look for is chickens that are a little bit off and laying a lot, like Holly said, because that's one part of that 10-point exam. You always want to look at the feet. And yeah, the most common cases, you're always going to see that black scab. And, those are the ones that you want to see it. If it's going to be it, you want to see that black scab. You don't want to see something more complex.
Right. So that's what we call the simple form of Bumblefoot. The more complex is when you have the infection moved into different parts of the foot, including it can even go in the bone, which is bad news.
It's happened to my chicken, yes.
Or the bloodstream and cause sepsis. So you don't want any of them. So if you just have the scab confined to the bottom of the foot, what you need to do is you need to get that scab off and then clean out whatever's inside of it. A lot of people will tell you to soak the foot. This is our experience, and this is, 20 years of us dealing with scabs and nasty. You only soak the foot until the scab comes off. And after that, you don't really want to soak it because the stuff that comes off a foot, you don't want going into a fresh opening.
Exactly. Think about it this way. If you use one bowl to soak the foot in, and then you keep re-soaking in that bowl, say you don't clean it, say whatever, you got an open sore, everything that comes off that foot, like Holly said, is going right into that sore and reinfecting it.
That's generally a stew of nasty because there's nothing good in dirt with chicken poop in it.
Honestly, you want to keep it as clean and dry as you can throughout that by scrubbing and cleaning the foot with a gauze pad to clean it every other day or so without soaking it.
And I don't even soak them that often anymore. A lot of times the scab will just flick off and you can clean. In the simplest cases, the infectious stuff is sometimes stuck to the scab or right below the surface, and you can just clean that out. we highly recommend you use silver ointment because all fungus and bacteria react to silver ointment. That's
and
what we recommend.
to clean, we always recommend HybaCleanse because it's a really good cleanser. It's chlorhexidine. It takes care of fungus and bacteria. It kills both of them.
I always use diluted iodine.
We come to the same conclusion, but we
Right.
both use different things.
Exactly. Now, is a culture necessary? So we're going to talk about this at length because it gets into a lot of the specific things about Bumblefoot. This is stuff you don't read online, right? We recommend a culture in stubborn cases because something is wrong where whatever you're using is not getting rid of that infection.
Right. If it's not healing, you're going to have to go to the vets.
Well, right. And that also gets into the surgery question. So this is all a big thing. A lot of times you'll see online, people will say that this is caused by Staphylococcus aureus. That's only one of the bacteria or fungus that can cause Bumblefoot. We've seen cultures from our own birds. We've seen like 6 different kind of bacteria plus Candida yeast.
Yeah. There's a lot of fun guys out there.
A lot of fun guys.
They're going to want to have a party in your chicken's foot. So we recommend.
That's what it is. It's a bacteria party in your chicken's foot.
It's a party in my foot. It's a party. So if you're having a stubborn case, you clean it out, you scrub it, use all the great things, you use silver ointment on it, you do all the things, you're wrapping it, and it's not healing. And you say you do that for a few days, then it's at a point where you do want to make a doctor's appointment and have a doctor look at it and say, okay, well, if we need to open this a little bit more, because there could be a kernel in there that's not out yet,
right?
Or there could be something in there that medicine is not killing. And that's when the culture comes in. Believe me, you pay out a little bit more for the culture, but in the end, you pay out a lot less because you then know exactly what medicine to use to heal it.
Right. And so your doctor can say, you need to use this topically. And in these cases, they can even prescribe antibiotics that will kill that particular bacteria and or fungus.
And Dr. Rebecca has right in front of me, when I thought I could get the core out, the little kernel, numbed my chicken's foot right there so she didn't feel it and put a hemostat in there and pulled that out, and then it was able to heal.
Right.
But you want to do that in a sterile environment, and you want to do it so that they're not in pain. That foot was numbed with lidocaine first, so they didn't feel it.
Right. This wasn't Dr. Rebecca. This preceded Dr. Rebecca. This was with Casper, my Swedish flower rooster. We had a case of Bumblefoot with him that was the better part of a year. Old Dr. Ryan did a surgery on him. Long story short, there was still stuff in the foot. We couldn't get to it. He was really in a lot of pain and not feeling well. So my farm vet did kitchen counter surgery. I mean, he's a traveling vet, so he has a whole sterile kit, right?
Right, exactly.
When I worked with him, I used to autoclave it for him. So he numbed the whole foot, and then he made a very large incision and went in there and got a lot of stuff. And then we had to debride it, like physically debride it every day for like another month, but it did heal. But I can't even imagine how painful that would have been for Casper if he had made an incision that size with no painkiller.
This is the thing to understand about chickens is they're stoic, right? So they may be in pain and their DNA tells them to not show pain because then they're at the mercy of predators.
They're even more of a target. Yeah.
Right. They can't show pain. So it's not that they're not feeling it. It's that they're not showing it. So giving anybody, if you're going to cut anything, they need to be numbed by something that a veterinarian can do. It's not that we're saying that their foot shouldn't be cut. We're saying it should be cut in a clean environment with the pain medicine.
Right.
And your vet can also send them home with the pain medicine to help that foot feel better, because if you're going to notice, they're going to lip more the next day or two.
Right.
With that healing even.
Yes.
So
we've seen over the years, we've seen people who have done their own surgery on chickens, because a lot of times the common knowledge that people share is that you need to go in there. I've even seen people say an X-Acto knife. Don't do that.
I've seen the same thing. Please don't do that. Please.
But go in there with a scalpel and cut out around the wound. Okay. Have there been birds that have healed from this? Yes. But we've seen plenty of birds die from sepsis after going through this treatment.
I mean, keep in mind, I was a vet tech for 15 years and I do not cut my own chickens at home. I did that for a living for 15 years, and I would not dare cut them at home and not be in an animal hospital doing it, because I've seen what can happen. So
you need a sterile environment. Like a traveling vet could do it, but like Dr. Wells has a whole kit with sterile dressings and
right, exactly.
Because as he was saying, when he made that big incision and cleaned out Casper's foot, that is like a hell of a lot of infectious material with what is now an open surgical wound. And that's a recipe for bacteria in the bloodstream if you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah. So let's get into, you do this, and then the next thing is bandaging. Everybody knows I love a bandage. I love me some bandages.
Kind of freakish how much you love bandages.
I know. I love doing it. So you want to have a good technique of getting the foot bandage. I always love it when I show up at Dr. Rebecca's with like a stubborn case and she's like, these bandages. I'm like, aren't they good? She's like, yeah.
Sometimes in the morning when you tell me that you've bandaged someone, I'm like, you got to send me a pic. I got to see what's happening. And they're inevitably like, you can't even recognize it as a bird foot anymore, except for toenails peeking out of it.
I know. So you got to get a good technique for your bandage. And usually less is better unless you're me, because then I'm like, pile it on, baby.
Usually less is better.
Usually. But you want to make sure you clean it first before you bandage it. And then you dry it with something that you can get sterile gauze, or you can get gauze in a package. Every piece is individually packed.
Is it roll gauze?
I have roll gauze.
I know you have roll gauze, but you can get those little squares too.
Yeah, that are individually wrapped. So when you dry it, you're not putting anything else on it. And then you want to put the medicine on. And then you want like a good Telfa pad that's going to not stick, but absorb moisture.
And you can get them pretty much anywhere. I mean, I think our supplies from Walmart, they used to be like $2 a box. And it's like a 2x2 pad. And chicken feet aren't that big. So sometimes you can get multiple uses out of one pad if you cut it the right way.
I can get like 10 out of a pad at least. I'm the
not a 2x2.
Cutter.
That would be a 4x4.
I can get a lot out of that pad, man. So then you want to be able to sit down and bandage the foot and make sure that it's cushioned where that sore is, so that when they walk down, they're not feeling directly on it. And then our old friend, vet wrap. The best thing ever.
So I mentioned old Dr. Ryan, which he used to be an avian vet in the Carroll County, Maryland area. And he did see Casper. I think he's since retired. But he gave me this really great piece of advice for complicated bumblefoot, or one that's had a surgery. And that is, you want to use something ring-shaped and very soft on the bottom of the foot. So you can make like a ring out of vet wrap.
Yeah.
Or you can take a stack of gauze or nonstick pads, like fold them in half and cut a circle out. And even, what did he say? I think he said like the bottom of a pool noodle or something.
Right. It's so that their foot isn't flat on the ground and they're not putting pressure on the sore.
And it lets things drain better.
Exactly. Dr. Rebecca does the same thing. She has done little loops and sent me home with them, and I keep them in my first aid kit in case I have a case like that I need to use.
You can make a ring.
What's going to happen?
Exactly. Yeah. Vet wrap's going to be the outside of your bandage anyway, so you can make those little rings, and they make a world of difference.
Yes. I mean, here's the thing to remember. Bumblefoot is going to happen. It's going to happen. And how you handle it can say where you're going to be. Now, I've had a really bad case where my Salmon Feverall had half of her toe amputated because it did go to her bone. Yeah. And that was with me treating exactly like I'm telling you. And it was a stubborn case. And we ended up going to Dr. Rebecca about 8 times.
Right.
And finally, we tried to save the toe. And she's like, we just can't. It's not healing. It's in the bone. So
yeah, she showed us that. That was interesting. I'm not going to gross you out if you're like eating your breakfast and listening, but
no, but I mean, she showed nothing. She could not feel anything.
She couldn't feel anything. She had no nerves left in that part of the toe.
So she ended up having it amputated. I was so upset. Dr. Rebecca said, there's a lot of chickens that do just fine with one less toe or a half a toe. And she does.
Yeah.
And, you know, that kind of thing happens.
I have a big rooster that only has one foot. He's missing 2 half toes. He does fine.
Yeah, they do fine. But the thing is, you have to partner with your veterinarian so that you can get through these things. Sometimes you can do them on your own and sometimes you can't. It's just the way it is. It's just,
and we've heard from a lot of people who, and this is great news, a lot of people have vets who are willing to see chickens, but you need to work together and learn together, because a lot of times they, with the best will in the world, they just don't know the best ways to do things.
Right.
You don't want to say like, you should do this. If you phrase it as a request and say essentially, I'm wondering if this would work. You're going to get further than just not saying a word if they're doing something that you think isn't the best approach.
Right, exactly. Like, I'm wondering if we could try giving her a little or him a little local in the foot so that they don't feel it, and just seeing if there's something in there. Is that something we can do? There's really nice ways of saying it. So try that. So let's get into prevention. We've done all the fun of it.
Mm-hmm.
The fun, not fun. Prevention and environmental causes, because that's how they're getting it.
Now, last year was like Bumblefoot-a-palooza. Bumblepalooza? What would that be?
Bumblepalooza.
Bumblepalooza. Because there was drought in so many areas, the ground was very dry. So the chickens were getting micro abrasions on their feet when they scratched and dug, which equaled a lot of bumblefoot cases.
And then came the rain, and then came the bacteria in the mud from the water.
Yeah.
And then it was a perfect storm. So their little feet are always on the ground. You think about it. They don't have shoes.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, they do if they have one of your bandages on.
My mom's like, why don't you make like a shoe for the chickens so that they don't even have to touch the ground? I'm like, that would be great. I mean, seriously.
No chicken wants to have their foot in a boot permanently, though.
It could be a little sleeve, like a sock. Their little nails hang out, just protects the feet.
That, again, your bandage.
So prevention, their feet are in the ground. The thing is catching it early. That's your prevention, is catching it as early as you can.
Right.
Because if it gets further along without being treated, then you have a more complex case. So watching everybody for laying down more. If they are, checking the feet. Always check the feet. With a limp, check the feet.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes they'll stand around with one foot held up.
Right. And I've seen them where they do nothing, and I find it by chance.
Yeah, that's absolutely the case. I think sometimes there are cases that I don't even know happen, like just a simple case and it resolves itself. That's not always what happens, though. So you can't just hope it's going to go away.
And sometimes the foot really swells, and that's when you're like, oh no, I see that. So there's all these things. It's just being observant of your flock, taking that time and watching them and catching it as early as you can.
So one of the easiest things you can do in your own setup to help stop bumblefoot is make sure the roosts that your birds are on, because they're on there half of their lives, they spend on that roost, are clean and splinter-free, as splinter-free as possible. So you can scrub your roosts with a mixture of half vinegar and water, and that kills a lot of stuff.
If you don't like the smell of vinegar, you can add cinnamon sticks and orange peels to it. It smells really good.
Try to mask the smell a bit, yeah.
Yeah.
And then if they're really splintery, you can sand them. I sand mine about once a year. You can put
contact paper on, which I do.
Contact paper or those rubber strips on there. If you're seeing a lot of bumblefoot and there's not something like a drought going on, check your roosts. Because again, dirty feet are up there and your chickens spend half their lives sleeping on those roosts. So
well, that's a case too. If you have a lot of chickens with it, it could be the roost at that point.
Yeah.
Also.
Yeah.
So just check it. Now we're going to say, if you have any questions or concerns that we did not answer for you, feel free to message us on social media or email us, and we will answer them as well as we can. Okay. So are we ready to move on to
cracking the eggs?
Cracking those eggs. Now, October is pumpkin month because September was apple and November is Thanksgiving month. So we are doing
pumpkin whoopie pies.
Because who does not like a whoopie pie? Come on, they're great.
They're really good. And we just wanted to add, if you haven't checked out the recipes on our website, go do it. We have over 250 recipes to use eggs, and they're free. So many of the cooking sites are behind paywalls now.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Ours are free and they're well tested.
They are. Okay, so we live near Lancaster. Just to say that, we're about an hour away. And the Amish in Lancaster make the meanest whoopie pies ever. They're awesome there.
Yeah, they're well known for the whoopie pies, but they don't make gluten-free whoopie pies, so guess what?
I thought I saw some there.
Maybe somewhere.
You did. They might do them now. So we're going to make our own because Holly needs gluten-free.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go through the ingredients for what we're going to need. We need 1 cup of granulated sugar, 2 of those large eggs that we got in one day, a half a cup of canola oil, 1 cup of pumpkin puree, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, 2 cups of all-purpose flour or gluten-free flour, 1:1, 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, a half a teaspoon of table salt, 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, and 1 of nutmeg. Wait, let me do the filling ingredients
go ahead
so that we can just go
first.
through.
Mm-hmm.
So the filling is going to be 8 ounces of cream cheese at room temperature. You could do like I do. I put it in the microwave for 20 seconds.
Yeah.
It still works. A 1/4 cup of unsalted butter at room temperature or dairy-free butter. 2 cups of powdered sugar, sifted. A half a teaspoon of vanilla extract and a pinch of salt.
You're going to preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And you're going to line 2 baking sheets with silpats or parchment paper. In a large mixing bowl, you're going to beat the sugar and the eggs together for about 3 minutes until they're thick and pale in color. You're going to add the oil, the pumpkin, and the vanilla and beat again. In the same bowl, you're going to add the flour, baking powder, baking soda, salt, and spices. Mix until that is well combined. You can use a spoon, but a lot of people like a cookie scoop for this. So you want like a tablespoon and a half of batter. So if you
use a cookie scoop for everything.
Yeah. Or just eyeball it, like me, if you don't mind weird shaped pumpkin whoopie pies. So scoop the batter onto the prepared baking sheets. You're going to bake for about 12 or 13 minutes, or longer or shorter if your oven is hotter or not. Remove, and you're going to let them cool completely. You don't want to try to fill them while they're still warm. It doesn't go well. In a large bowl, using a hand or a stand mixer, you're going to beat the cream cheese and the butter together until they're creamy. Add the confectioner's sugar and the rest of the ingredients and mix until well combined. And then spread or pipe that filling onto one side of a whoopie pie, carefully topped with another side, and serve. They sound disgustingly good, sweet and delicious.
So good.
Good.
I love baking with pumpkin, everything I can do with pumpkin. And the thing is, I always say to myself, why am I not using my pumpkin all year round? It's just that. Why am I not using pumpkin all year round? And myself says, it's not the fall. It's the fall thing about pumpkin. It's like I said before in the beginning of the show, that nostalgia of this time of the year. Pumpkin is part of it. Pumpkin spice, pumpkin stuff. And there's so much you can do with it. Use it. It's harvested this time of the year.
It's delicious. I love pumpkins. Are some of the easiest things to grow too. You just need a lot of space. I love growing pumpkins.
One year, somehow, we had a pumpkin on our front porch and it fell off into the garden and we forgot. And all of a sudden, like in the spring and summer, we saw this vine.
Oh, yeah.
And it was growing all the way out into our yard.
Yeah.
We let it go. We had a pumpkin that year.
You had a pumpkin.
It was great.
Yeah. Compost pumpkins are not uncommon.
This one year, I would take Magpie for walks all around the neighborhood. And in one of the like little free spaces, somebody must have put a squash or something. So all the time I kept seeing his vine. And then all of a sudden I saw a squash growing. And then I was like, I can't be the only one watching this. It's ripe. So I grabbed it.
Did you really? Jeez.
I'm like, I'm going to do something with this. It was cool.
What'd you do with it?
I think I used it as a decoration because it was like a gourd kind of thing.
Oh, it wasn't a really nice edible one. Okay.
No. Okay. So try it. You might like it. Let us know what you think. You can't go wrong with the whoopie pie, man. They're great.
No.
Okay, so let's move on to retail therapy. Retail therapy. Yeah. This week's retail therapy, we're doing chicken butter dishes because, yes, they exist.
They do exist, yes.
And there are some majorly cool ones out there. Let me tell you.
A lot of the sort of like 40s, 50s, 60s, some of those China sets that were chicken based, some of them came with butter dishes. So I've seen like Rossini is one of the brands. I've seen their chicken butter dish.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
Like, it's literally a figural chicken on top of the butter dish.
Oh, yeah. So these are cool. Like you can even go to Amazon and just search chicken butter dishes and they will come up. They're modern ones. Mm-hmm. Now, vintage, you're going to have to go to like Etsy or eBay. But I mean, new or old, there are some majorly cool ones out there.
A butter dish is nice to have if you're having like afternoon tea or something like that, or for a breakfast spread. It's nice to have a butter dish.
I like butter dishes. And I love the fact that the top is a hen. Because to me, it's just another decoration that could be used. Exactly. And like you said, if you go to somebody's house, we do this. You and I, if we go to each other's house, we try to set it up so that it's fun. Yeah. And that We use our stuff that we're finding in the thrift store or wherever we're finding it. And these butter dishes are cool. They're awesome.
very cute. It's nice to serve butter with scones.
Yes, scones. We could do a pumpkin scone maybe.
Ooh, oh, let's do a pumpkin scone. Yeah.
It might be a good one.
Oh, that sounds good to me.
Okay, so should we tell everybody what we're going to be talking about next week?
Next week, we are spotlighting. It's spooky season, so we're spotlighting one of the spookiest chickens around, and that is the crevecoeur.
Oh, yeah.
Main topic, limping and lameness in chickens. We have heard tons of this lately, so we're going to go over it for you. Cracking the eggs, we've got pumpkin pasta carbonara.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And retail therapy, another Chrissy special. We have chicken candlesticks and chicken candle holders.
We got them because I actually have some. Okay, so what should we tell everybody to do until next week?
Hug your chickens
every day and kiss them too. We'll talk to you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
If you'd like to see more of us, please follow us on Instagram at Coffee with the Chicken Ladies. If you'd like to help us grow the podcast, please leave us a written review on Apple Podcasts. If you'd like to become a patron of the show, please visit our Patreon page, patreon.com/Coffee with the Chicken Ladies. Thanks for listening.